Hey everybody. Part 5. Between the World and Me. Ta-Nehisi Coates. If I look tired, it's because I am. It's because this is now the second time I'm recording this after having to do 3 takes of Part 4 and then finding out today that Part 4 still doesn't work. So I will have to redo that one and repost it so that those of you who are still reading Part 2, you know, don't fall too far behind. Anyway, part 5, Ta-Nehisi Coates, Between the World and Me, pages 52 to 62. This section is about the great revelation that happens in a lot of people's lives. What you will find at some point in your life is that you will realize that everything you've been taught is a lie, man. It's all a lie, right? I joke, but you're going to realize that a lot of the beliefs you held, a lot of the things you had been told, a lot of the things that you hold dear to yourself, you are going to find out aren't completely true, or are all out lies, or have been manipulated in order to get you to think or feel a certain way, or are based off of the ignorance of the people around you. And at the end of the last section, Coates was alluding to this, how that he was feeling really disconnected with the university. You know, he had all these great people that he was going out and talking to and realizing that he loved poetry, he loved language. But man, education was just bringing him down, man. Come on, man. And then at the end of the section we read for part 4, he says that he realizes that this chaos was actually a beacon, meaning a light in the darkness. And that's something he should be attracted to, the thing that he needs to find, right? If we think in terms of Du Bois, it would be a light beyond the veil, right? To to focus on and head towards. So in the section for today, 52 to 62, he begins by talking about how he thought that education was getting in the way, excuse me, of his progress. And then he realizes that that was actually the opposite, right? That it was through his education, through the classes he took, that he realized that the beliefs that he held about his blackness, the things that he had learned about, you know, former great examples of black culture were not necessarily true, right? He talks about the queen who, you know, made the servant get down on all fours so that she could sit down. Well, it turns out the servant was a lot closer to her skin color than the queen was. So the queen had servants and slaves. This black queen had black slaves. So what does that mean? Oh my goodness. Okay, right? He talks also about how there are quite a few visual depictions or written depictions of black people in earlier centuries that are actually quite flattering. Paint them as noble, as worthy, as excellent people, rather than what you would see in like 1800s and early 1900s America with, you know, the black Sambos and Jim Crow, Uncle Tom depictions of African Americans. So this is causing some turmoil in his mind when he is realizing that these things that he thought defined him were not true. It causes this existential crisis of, oh my goodness, who am I? Where am I in place? Everything I know is a lie. But what he says he did is he focused on the people around him at Howard University. He looked at the student population. He talks about women that he fell for and was in relationships with, and how he found that there's such a vast diversity of people within his own, you know, adopted culture, or assigned culture, I guess is the better term. There's such a great diversity that he found that if he was willing to, kind of give up any prejudices he had about who people were, how they lived, how they thought, that he then was able to embrace them with love. And this is the central point of this section right here. He brings up the idea of fear quite a few times. He talks about how a lot of his decisions were governed by fear, how a lot of his thoughts and beliefs were shaped by fear, and how because he was shown that what he held on to was not true, or at least painted, it was painted for him in a way that was untrue. He talks about how by identifying love, focusing on love, that changes him as a person. And that gives him his motivation to become a writer, right? By being able to get to know people and share stories, right? Really get them to open up to him, right? Let them feel comfortable with who he is. And I've said right a dozen times. You could go back and count it. I bet you it's at least 20 times at this point. He opens up and is able to get people to open up, and that allows him to share their stories, which is what a really good journalist does, right? Journalism isn't always about here's what happened when it happened, and it's not the sexy Hollywood version of let's meet people in underground parking structures with secret documents so that we can break open this scandal, blah, blah, blah. That's part of it. And reporting facts and what happened is part of journalism. But the part that he really excelled at was telling stories, getting people to open up, sharing their stories, right? Sorry, I said it again. And that gave him his direction in life. So remember, this is a letter he's writing to his son in the wake of the Michael Brown verdict, or lack of a verdict. They decided not to press charges on the police officers. And what he is seeing in his son is fear, right? Fear of white people looking at his black body and deciding to destroy it, right? Cause harm, lose it, right? And he's going to talk more about this later, but right now he's saying you can't let your life be defined by fear. You have to let it be defined by love. If we let fear rule our lives, we are always going to make the wrong choice, right? We are always going to make what we believe to be the safe choice, but at the same time, we are shutting people out. We are shutting opportunities out, and we are shutting our own growth out. Love is what allows us to accept. Love is what allows us to meet and to grow as people, right? What's that old adage? You catch more bees with honey than with whatever you're supposed to catch them with, than with glue, or whatever the adage is. Anyway, so love. Love, love, love. Love is all you need, to quote my favorite band, the Beatles. So that's it. I hope you all have a good weekend. As you can see, I did laundry today, thus by the plethora of hangers behind me, and then over here by the unicorn painting. Yes, I know unicorns aren't orange with black spots, but I have a 2-year-old and my wife was trying to make her happy. Anyway, I miss you all. I hope to see you all soon. If you have any questions or anything you need from me, remember, send me a remind message. You can send me an email, but I don't check my email until after my kids go to bed and after I've sent my wife off to bed. So, excuse me, I don't check it till like 9 at night. So you won't get a response till the next day. Text message is going to get to me faster. All right. So take care. I'll see you next week sometime. Bye-bye.